The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
For the hero, the only true conclusion is death. The hero does not cower to death, for that would belittle life. The hero knows he cannot defeat danger, but for a moment, he can free others from fear. Tonight, Gotham's relying on one man to save us all.
Vigilante, a person who tries to catch or punish criminals without legal authority or approval from the police or government. Now, if you're anything like me, I'm pretty sure we have all dreamt of putting on some badass suit, have a certain set of skills, and go out on the street beating the absolute shit out of people for maybe our own weird sadistic enjoyment, but mostly to deal out that vigilante justice. What if I told you that no longer had to be a dream? That you, yes, you, could actually go out at night and save the city from the terror and goons that havoc it. But no, I'm not talking about those goofy-ass vigilantes from like the 2010s that went around in these whack-ass suits, went on to daytime TV shows, and usually got their ass whooped from time to time.
Peacemaker. What a joke.
No, I'm talking about the real deal. The type that knows how to navigate the criminal underworld, fight waves of enemies, generate their own arsenal, train, evade law enforcement, and even maintain a double life all at the same time. But you know, some haters are probably out there going like,
Being a vigilante is not possible. You're gonna die after like one night.
but you know what? Fuck that. Some of us aren't like you, Ryan, throwing back your 15th bag of queso-flavored Ruffles and can barely bench a plate. So buckle in, because this video is going to serve as an official guide on how to become a vigilante in real life. And the kicker, survive more than one night. So with that said, welcome back to some more heat. So I'm gonna kind of divide this video into like multiple sections, all demonstrating what you're gonna need to become a vigilante, starting with chapter 1. Now, what does it take to become a vigilante? Well, before you even think of hitting these streets at all, you can't just go out there with the romanticized fantasy of being a vigilante. Or else, yeah, you kind of will get cooked. And you'll probably end up like the guy from the beginning of Kick-Ass. Let me explain. See, if you just run out there with a cute, quirky fantasy of, oh, I'm Batman, all because you have a shiesty and can bench 2 plates, yeah, that's nowhere near enough to survive the brutal trials that will probably face you coming ahead. So first and foremost, you're probably going to need a really tragic backstory. Something that gives you motivation, conviction, a reason to want to do this for year on end. I don't know, try something like your entire family being slaughtered by the cartel, someone screwing over you causing your uncle to get slimed, or even your prom date leaving you halfway through to go make out with that one guy named Jamal Quan Montavious on March 4th, 2022 at exactly 8:47 p.m. So once you have a valid origin story going for you, that gives you a reason to do what you're about to do for years to come, now it's time to ask yourself, what kind of vigilante do you want to become? A vigilante that lurks in the shadows and does things very stealthily and takes out goons as you find them? Or one that just goes in guns blazing and wiping out all enemies at no matter what cost? Or if you really want, just be that super goofy ass vigilante that goes around in a wacky suit in the daytime and gives food to the homeless. Lame. Like, bro, you think any of these guys are gonna be on shit whenever Darkseid arrives? They may not be, but you will. But what do you think helps the city more? Volunteering and giving away food to people who probably actually need it? Or I don't know, absolutely blowing up a warehouse, taking out the goons that deeply inconvenience you, all because it helps you deal with that unbearable trauma we were talking about earlier. But no, we're here to become vigilantes, not someone who makes meaningful contributions to society. But fun fact, it's actually not illegal to become a vigilante. Let me explain. See, there's absolutely no law against you going out, dressing up in a suit, and walking around your city looking for crime, and I don't know, probably the more logical approach being to report it to the authorities. But no, what the police might actually take issue to is assault, theft, battery, arson, breaking and entering, trespassing, aggravated assault on a police officer, carrying high-class weaponry, and speeding, just to name a few. But if you're really serious about saving your city and you have no problem committing any of these crimes listed right here, then you've come to the right. Okay, so first thing you're gonna need to do if you want to become a capable vigilante, you're gonna need adequate functional strength and endurance training. You can't be out here failing to climb buildings, not being able to lift heavy objects, not being able to hang on to high-speed cars going at 70 miles per hour, and being able to handle multiple guys at once and try to call yourself a superior vigilante. Yeah, that's just not happening. So first, you need to get some muscle on your meat. So what does sufficient training look like? Well, first of all, you're gonna need to work on your endurance. No, not that endurance, this endurance. Meaning being able to run long distances, hold certain uncomfortable positions, and even do certain moves repeatedly for an extended amount of time. So this means, bro, if you can't run a 30-second mile, pack it up, bro. We don't need you out here on these streets. I'm joking. But at least make sure you can run maybe about half a mile at a pretty decent speed. I'm talking like 8 to 10 miles per hour before needing to take a breather. All right, so now you have decent cardio, but you're still built like Waluigi, and you'll probably be getting completely manhandled by these big black guys. So let's fix that by adding some strength. Now, you're gonna need a pretty solid workout routine. One that allows you to still go out at night and wreak havoc, but also allows you to maintain your gains. So if you're gonna be taking on multiple guys, it's probably gonna be in your best interest to train for strength and power. Now, these are low-key like broken-ass cheat codes, because training for strength means you're gonna be working with heavyweight and super low reps, and trying to crank out those reps as explosively as possible. But I'm sure there's a lot more information out there about how to properly do these workout routines. So the source, trust me, bro. But here's the crazy thing that I'm sure you probably haven't wrapped your mind around. Being strong with weights doesn't always translate to being able to climb buildings and do parkour effectively. Let me explain. Bro, you thought that 315 bench was enough to go out here and hit these streets and still take on multiple guys? No! I think you forget. You need to be able to climb, run, and navigate these rooftops. So with that said, I think you need to get exceptionally good at parkour and calisthenics. These are the type of workouts that help you to muscle up, climb buildings, make jumps, and survive them. Now, a decent training regimen for calisthenics are dips, pull-ups, and the best part about that is once you become good at some of these exercises, just add some weight to it. So look at you, your general strength is looking pretty solid, and that means we can translate it to parkour. Now, you're gonna need parkour if you expect to have that edge over like everybody when it comes to like getting into buildings, escaping enemies, cops included, and even chasing them down. Now, there's a large array of stuff when it comes to parkour, but I just want to make one thing clear. But let me be clear, parkour is not the same as free running. I know you're probably like, bro, like what the fuck are you talking about? But see, people have managed to integrate the two, so let me explain. See, parkour is simple. The idea of parkour is that you just get from point A to point B as effectively as possible. Free running is trying to get from point A to point B looking as cool as possible. So you mainly want to focus on parkour because it'd be pretty embarrassing if you're out one night trying to chase a guy, and while he's out here doing basic parkour, like he should, you're gonna sit here trying to show off and do a front flip off the ledge and end up falling like 20 stories, breaking your neck all just because you wanted some aura points. Well, guess what, buddy? You're dead. Now, there's a large list when it comes to parkour moves, but I'm gonna give you a few that you should probably learn and will definitely be the most beneficial and optimal. You should focus on a vault, a dive roll, climbing up a ledge, the safety roll, leaping ledges, and being able to grab onto them. And if you can master these moves and become quite efficient at them, I think from a physical prowess perspective, you're quite satisfactory. So, okay, I think you've gotten being able to move down. But wait, being able to bench press and jump off buildings is still not enough to consider yourself a capable vigilante. Because again, how do you expect to take on multiple guys if you don't know one of the most important skills necessary to saving your city? Yeah, that's right, you need to know how to fight. Now, I'm sure we all know the classic, oh, well, Batman knows over 130 something martial, but I'm not gonna lie, that's unnecessary. You really just need to be well equipped with a few. I don't know, something like boxing, Muay Thai, Judo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Krav Maga. Now, these are pretty much interchangeable, I guess, but the general idea are 2 striking sports, 2 ground/defense sports, and 1 weapon counter sport. See, you're pretty well rounded in terms of fighting, and having different techniques for different situations. But I know some dork is probably watching this and thinking to themselves,
bro, not even John Jones is able to survive going against 5 guys. This guy is bullshit. No amount of fighting is gonna save you from a guy with a switch, or even 10 guys try to jump you.
And to that I say, yes, you are correct. You are not going to have the perfect Arkham-style free-flow combo on multiple guys that I'm sure we have all daydreamed of pulling off in front of our crush. And the brutal and honest truth is, yeah, it's 2025. Nobody fights anymore. But bro, just cause DeQuante, Trilo, Various, and all of his homies have switches doesn't mean you can't have an arsenal of your own. Because see, Batman might not be entirely unrealistic when you look at it from the perspective of his Batman fighting people and not Bruce Wayne. Because think about it, you have a guy running around in a fully tactical, combat-ready, $1 million bulletproof suit strapped for days. Pretty much just going around beating the hell out of a shit ton of bald, shirtless goons. Like, yeah, when you put it that way, you will have the complete edge 9 times out of 10. So consider having a weapon of choice on you. I don't know, something like batons, blades, or even guns. Yeah, guns are pretty effective. But I only recommend those if you're like a full-time vigilante crash out. But even if those aren't efficient enough, no worries. Because once you get good enough and start expanding your overall knowledge in the sciences like engineering, chemistry, and physics, you can use that knowledge to apply those things to something called applied sciences.
Say that again?
This is going to give you even more of the edge you're going to need above your opposition. You'll be able to manufacture your own gear like shurikens, flashbangs, thermite charges, grenades, smoke pellets, grapple guns, battle ready armor, and even some crazier things you could possibly think of. Okay, so now you got some good strength, some good parkour, a solid arsenal, and even a pretty good battle ready suit. But the truth is, there's a little bit more that goes into being a good vigilante than what I just listed above. Because hell, anyone could get their hands on any of those things. But being a vigilante comes down to your execution. I mean, remember back to The Dark Knight when a bunch of these wannabes wanted to be Batman, and they obviously got their ass whooped because they didn't operate like Batman? Yeah, that's not gonna be you. Because being a vigilante takes strategy, planning, awareness, and know-how. Meaning covering up your tracks, thinking 10 steps ahead, and depending on what you're gonna get into, honestly, not my problem, but being highly aware of where cameras are located. So where do we start? Well, if you're gonna be defending your own city, I think it'll probably be, I don't know, a little bit beneficial to, I don't know, intimately know it. Meaning you'll need to be spending your early nights patrolling, searching buildings, and becoming quite familiar with every alleyway, sewer line, and street. Okay, so that's solid. But now it's time to go find some crime. Now, unlike the movies, crime isn't just gonna spawn in some of the most obvious places. Like, you're not just gonna walk down the street one night and be like, oh wow, there's like 20 guys down there in suits dealing drugs. I mean, depending on where you live, that's a high probability, of which case being a vigilante might be like 10 times easier. But in majority of places, high-level crime is going to be very low-key. So keep an eye out for suspicious activities. I don't know, start off with something simple like trying to catch a predator, trying to bust like a trafficking ring. I don't know. Those are pretty good starts. Alright, so you survived your first night. Congratulations. But you're not done yet, because if you expect to keep this up, you need to know how to disappear and blend back in. You need to be untraceable. Because if you're going to go around taking the law into your own hands, best believe you're going to be making enemies on both sides of the law. So this is why you're going to have to become a master of escape and leaving behind very little evidence. Creating distractions, blending back into society, and even some cases, having to break out of handcuffs. Because the gang lords, the police, and the FBI will not stop until you are put down. And in the event you're handcuffed and or kidnapped, learn to pick cuffs and also break out of them. And that's actually super easy to do. I actually made an entire video on it. Go check that out after this one. And maybe consider trying to get one of those devices that allows you to listen into encrypted police radio frequencies, so that you'll have full awareness of what's going on and what's being said. But most importantly, make sure that no one knows your secret.
I'm Phoenix Jones. I'm Elsa Ben Foder. I'm just like everyone else.
And I mean, honestly, yeah, you should be straight. So look at you with all the assets and knowledge needed to go save your city and become a quite capable vigilante. And how you manage to go about that, honestly, not my problem. I'm not responsible for any choices you make after watching this. I just make videos on the internet and get into my own shenanigans from time to time. And if the concern is money, don't worry. The Vigilante Starter Pack only really costs a few $1,000s. And if you don't got that, you might want to worry about avenging your bank account before you think about avenging the city. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe with post notifications on so you never miss an upload. And consider checking out my Instagram, as I do tend to post other stuff there, especially behind the scenes updates. Oh, and if you do enjoy what I do, consider supporting me by becoming a channel member for only $2.99 a month. I mean, it's literally less than a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. You also join my Discord, link down below. I also post updates there and communicate with you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here and I will catch you guys in the next video.